All honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rukakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS. Shalom to the hopeful elect, to the brothers out there teaching His word in truth and sincerity, to the ribs out there staying in order, and the sisters learning in silence. Right? So I was going through the headlines of Newsbreak, and we're in the year of the turn up, so we are continuously looking at the news and seeing end time prophecies, on a weekly. Right? This is the title of this one. Anxiety grows for Ukraine's grain farmers as harvest begins. Right? It says Zurikva, Ukraine. Alexander Chubuk's, so this, I don't know how to pronounce that, warehouse should be empty, awaiting the new harvest, with his supply of winter wheat already shipped abroad. Instead, his shortage bins in central Ukraine are piled high with grain he cannot ship out because of the war with Russia. And I know you guys heard about the fires in the field over there. We don't know who's setting those fires up. All this stuff is not happening just by chance, right? Bill Gates is not buying all the farmlands for no reason. Just like when he bought the Infomil formulas, all of a sudden, not long after, there was a shortage, right? All these things are premeditated. So don't always trust what you hear in the news, man. There's always a back door, right? It says the green spikes of wheat are already ripening. Soon the horizon will look like the Ukrainian flag, a sea of gold beneath a blue sky. Chubuk expects to reap 500 tons, but for the first time in 30 years as a farmer, he's uncertain about what to do with it. He said, "Hope is the only thing I have now." The war has trapped about 22 million tons of grain inside of Ukraine, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky, a growing crisis for the country known as the breadbasket of Europe for its exports of wheat, corn, and sunflower oil. So, this is a major producer of wheat on the to the east. So how much more is it going to affect the West, and how prices are going to go up? I saw an article where there was a farmer, a very small time farmer on this side in Babylon, that said that the price for hay was ridiculously high, and that to feed one cattle, it costs too much, so you have to inflate the prices. And then we got Billy Gates over there, who God knows what he's going to do to his cattle. As you see in the news as well, you have cattle dying of supposedly overheating, which possibility could be another country using the HAARP, HAARP device to increase the temperature in certain areas and make it seem like it was a regular event. That's a possibility, right? Because we've been at war with other countries for many, many years, but the world is just walking by as if nothing's going on, right? Continuing on. Before Russia's invasion, Ukraine could export 6 million to 6 million tons of grain per month, but in June, it shipped only 2.2 million tons. Wow, that's a third. They've only been doing a third so far. It's going to get worse. According to the Ukrainian Grains Association, normally it sends about 30% of its grain to Europe, 30% to North Africa, and 40% to Asia, said Mykola Harbakov, whatever how you say that, head of the association. With Russia's blockade of Ukrainian Black Sea ports, the fate of the upcoming harvest in Ukraine is in doubt. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization says the war is endangering food supplies for many developing nations and could worsen hunger for up to 181 million people. It's going to be worse than that. It says here, meanwhile, many farmers in Ukraine could go bankrupt. They are facing the most difficult situation since gaining independence in 1991, Horbakov said. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said his country is working with the UN, Ukraine, and Russia to find a solution, offering safe corridors in the Black Sea for wheat shipments. And you see all this food shortage from a mile away because, when Biden says there's going to be a crisis in food shortages before it actually happens, it means that they've been planning this for a long time. They know exactly what's going to happen. They know how to react. And there's a lot of things playing in the background, man. Like everybody's leaving the US dollar, going to the BRICS backed by gold, yada, yada, yada. But right now we're focusing on the shortage here on the wheat, right? This is something you're going to physically see. This is for the people just learning and not understanding the bigger picture. You'll see it first on your dinner plates, right? If you're not already seeing it now. Continuing on. For now, Ukraine is trying less effective alternative to export its grains, at least to Europe. Currently, 30% of exports go via the Danube River port in southwestern Ukraine. The country also is trying to ship grains via 12 border crossing with European countries, but trucks must wait in the line for days, and Europe's infrastructure cannot yet absorb such a volume of grain. Harbach said, "It is impossible to build such infrastructure in 1 year," he told the Associated Press. So prepare, man. Prepare to see the downfall of these countries and war rising. There's a lot of movement going on. And it's not just about food, man. So get your spirit right, man. I want to go to 2nd Ezra. Chapter 6. 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Right? This is what you're going to notice in your houses. People are going to start cooking breads, their own bread from, their own dough. Eventually, where people is going to share one oven. There'll be, 10 women sharing one oven. They might not even like each other, but, people are going to start learning how to try to survive, but it's only going to get worse, right? It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And that's where you notice when you go to the grocery store, you're missing a lot of items, or you have the appearance of a store that's full, but it's really not. It's only like 2 items in the back. And when you ask the people who work there, if they have some in the back, they'll say this is all we have. And people are still not really like questioning nothing, man. They're just sheeps, with no direction. This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. Right? That's a day's work. A day's worth of work for just a small measure. You're probably gonna need that measure yourself from working so damn hard, but you gotta feed your family, man. It's gonna be a lot of broken homes, and the government ain't gonna save you. You wicked ass Eve out there putting your fathers in child support. All that will be frozen. You can't charge a man child support that he don't have a job or money to give you to feed himself. So all the women out there that wanted to be independent and so-called independent, but relying on Esau's system, man, prepare yourselves for what you've done to those children's fathers. Right? And 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Right? So, with that, I'm going to say shalom. So to the brothers out there who know what's coming, I know this is a happy and joyous time. We anticipate the end of Babylon, and we're just anxious to see the downfall of this place, man. With that, I'm going to say shalom.